no matter what. That's the way I'm always gonna remember you.
I love you. You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
Life is short, and we are all going to meet our end someday. That might sound like a grim notion to kickstart a video with, but it's something that's worth addressing. Something that everyone needs to think about once in a while. You never know what life has in store for you. And that's why today, I'm going to talk about the last ever video on this channel. Life is short. No matter how much you plan your future, nor how carefully you do so, the simple fact of life is that life is inherently unpredictable. At any given moment, there are billions of factors, both tiny and giant, that influence life in ways that we can never predict. Some are within our control, and others are entirely outside the limits of our influence. You could forget to look both ways crossing the street and end up getting hit by a bus, or an asteroid could hit Earth and blow you into oblivion. And I'm not saying this to scare or depress you. Quite the opposite, in fact. Because understanding and truly appreciating the fleeting and fragile nature of life should serve as encouragement to act with meaning and purpose. I mean, think about it. If everything was to come to an end tomorrow, what would you leave behind? What did you stand for? What is your legacy? What did you let stand in the way of doing what you truly wanted to and achieving your goals? These are questions a Sigma male needs to ask himself routinely to make sure he is sticking to a path that has vision, that is fulfilling and truly makes sense for him to continue pursuing. I asked myself these questions and came back with the most honest answers I could. And here, I'll be sharing that with you guys. This is the Sigma male wisdom I wanted to leave you guys with in my last Sigma male video. Number 1, there is always an excuse not to do the thing you truly want to. On any given day, we make excuses for ourselves. Maybe it's telling ourselves we didn't have enough time to do that workout we were meaning to get around to, a tricky text or email you're delaying getting back to, or staying in a dead-end job because it's better than nothing or not really that bad. But whatever it is that you've got on your to-do list, there will always be an excuse you can give yourself as to why you never got around to it. An ultimate Sigma habit is to kick this mentality to the curb entirely. Forget excuses. Excuses are easy, and when we allow ourselves to use them, we end up throwing away so much of our time, our talent, our potential. If something unexpected were to happen and you were not around tomorrow, would you still believe the excuses you gave yourself? Would you feel happy about the times you held yourself back when, instead, you could have pushed yourself further? People who talk about traveling back into the past love to mull over the massive consequences that changing even one tiny thing back then could have on the future. Instead of discussing that, why not focus on just how different things could be in the future if you made that one tiny change today? Sigmas take it as a duty upon themselves to always persevere forward and never cave into a version of themselves that is less than what it could be. Putting aside even just one excuse every day will empower you to strive for better and to prove to yourself that you are most likely capable of anything you set your mind to, as long as you actually set your actions to it too. Kick the excuses and make like the Nike slogan and just do it. Number 2, don't worry about being cool or popular. Luckily, Sigmas are born pretty much knowing this one already. They don't fit into the traditional hierarchy of sociosexual dominance. And that means they don't need to position themselves in relation to others in order to determine their own self-worth. Instead, they are free to do as they please and define their worth in terms of how their actions line up with their own beliefs. This Sigma trait is incredibly freeing, as it removes the burden of caring about appearing cool or popular to the people around you. The average person allows this fear to hold them so much in life. It's truly incredible. So many opportunities left ungrasped. So much wasted potential. Not sharing an opinion or idea for fear of what others might think. Or not pursuing a goal because of the possible judgment that comes from failure. All of these fears merely serve to stop a person from manifesting their true potential. If you live every day as if it was your last, you quickly learn that life is simply too short to let these kinds of fears hold you back from achieving your true potential. At the end of the day, we are a pretty self-obsessed species. And that might seem like a negative comment, but I really don't see it that way. The honest truth of the matter is that most people are so wrapped up in their own fears and insecurities, wondering who likes them and what people think of them, that they probably care very little about what it is you're up to. Even if you take a risk and feel like you might have embarrassed yourself, the truth is that probably hardly anybody actually noticed, let alone cared. Do not let yourself be held back by such a futile set of fears. Forget popularity and be cool. What's truly cool is the bravery to be yourself. Number 3, don't go by half measures. So often people look back on their lives and feel like they didn't quite set out to achieve their dreams, even if they did genuinely make a stab at pursuing them. Most of the time, this is because people take action only with half their hearts. And the truth is, if you want something in life, you have to go out and grab it with 100% of your being. Those who only give half of their effort to achieving their goals will, more often than not, find they simply didn't give enough of themselves to the task. And these people usually go on to blame the world around them, might even become bitter or pessimistic. But instead of wallowing in misery and blaming unreached goals on the unfairness of the world, learn the power of true dedication. I promise you, there is nothing more satisfying in this life than throwing yourself completely into something you love. When the results manifest, you'll feel the true reward of your dedication. All of the most important advice from the last ever Sigma video is about living true to yourself, living with impact, to stop delaying your best possible present into a future that might never arrive and only gets further away the more you wait. Carpe diem might sound like the most overused and passé advice I could possibly give, but that's exactly what Sigmas do. Sigmas get to where they are in life because they live knowing that today is always the most important day of their lives. No time should go to waste, especially not on petty concerns or irrational fears. Your greatest obstacle is always yourself, and now is the time to lift that barrier to success. If this were my last ever video, and I wasn't here tomorrow, I would want you guys to step up and be there, with all of the dedication and self-empowerment you have. This is a pretty complex topic and difficult for many people to consider, as living this way requires a total breakdown of all the pacifying habits we've accumulated throughout life on account of fear, insecurity, or complacency. Routinely, it's important to take a step back and think about the eventuality of how you would feel if you did know that you were going to be gone tomorrow. I do this with this channel too. I ask myself what mark I would want it to leave if something did happen and life were to come to an unexpected end, or for whatever reason I was unable to continue making these videos and interacting with you all. So for now, I'm not going anywhere. But I wanted to make this video as if it were my last video, so that when that time comes, the advice is here. I also want to take the chance to say a big thank you to all of you for being part of this movement, and for taking the time to learn and understand the Sigma lifestyle. I hope to go on making more videos and bringing you guys more insights like this. And if you want to check out more videos, feel free to dive deep on the channel and leave a comment on your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. And hopefully, I'll see you next time.